Guys, good morning. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here in Connecticut. It is 4:45 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. It's going to be a rainy, wet day, 45 degrees here in Connecticut. All right. I know I've hit on touchy subjects lately, very touchy subjects, but it's what's going on in the world. I'm not going to avoid something just because it's a hot button topic. Yesterday, Trump at the um, pro-life march in front of the pro-life crowd. I was reading how his appearance went down, his speech in front of them, and let's see. First, I saw glaring hypocrisy. He was talking about the sanctity of women, their women's bodies, and I agree with it. I agree with that, but look who it's coming from. I'm not going to go back to the same old crotch grabbing thing that most of us anti-Trumpers bring up, but it goes even way deeper than that. Trump is one of the biggest misogynists I've seen in years. It sticks out to me how he labels, how he judges women by their looks. It's 2020. He still looks at women like he was running a beauty contest. That's how they're judged. Calling women dogs or bitches, or the way and to see him up there and talking about women and the stuff he said about what he likes to do to women. And the biggest thing is I see this crowd just loving him. 4 more years. I don't get it. They heard him. They heard his words himself. I suppose they're going to say, when he got off the bus talking about grabbing women, I'm sure they've got in their mind, they've justified it. Oh, that was the Trump of long ago. We grow up. It's locker room. That's another thing I want to talk about too. This locker room talk. Let me get back to that. Okay. So I was going over his speech, and there's one thing that stuck out that bothered me. And again, I love this country. I love the country. I love the beauty of this country. I paint the beauty of this country. That's what I do for a profession. I love the democracy, the freedom. So don't get me wrong. But part of his speech, one thing that stuck out there that bothered me, he brought up the sanctity. He was talking about how special children are, but he talked about the nobility, and then he quantified it, the nobility of American children, and that kind of stuck out to me. That to me, man, that just reeked of a nationalistic 1940s German Aryan race kind of attitude. The nobility of American children. And I could get into the whole thing. I could get into the whole thing about the Native Americans. What happened to the nobility of the original American children? The millions of murdered. That just stuck out, man. The nobility. There was other words. There's other adjectives. The specialness, the intelligence, and then nobility. Nobility just was like in red letters in my mind. The nobility of and then American children. Not that I don't think everybody is special in their own way. Italian children, English children, Australian children, Chinese children. I mean, we all have our special gifts, our special assets from our upbringing, from our location, from our geography, from our culture. But to me, like I said, it's nothing against America. It's just It's just I get the feeling, I get a feeling of superiority from him that makes me uncomfortable, more than uncomfortable. Um, so those were the parts of my speeches. For some reason, this morning, as I was thinking about all this, there was a commercial for George Carlin for some of his old CDs. You know, one of those Time Life things. And the way they were describing it as locker room, you could describe it in different ways: body talk, and then they went locker room talk. And I started thinking about that locker room talk, um, as if, and I remember them using that as an excuse for any of Trump's foul. You know, and if any other person, what if Obama? Imagine if Obama had said, "I can grab him by the crotch. You know, they'll let me do anything." Imagine if Barack Obama was on tape saying that, what Trump said. There is a good chance, a very good chance that they would have strung him up right in front of the White House, or you know, he wouldn't even be alive today. And I don't mean to laugh about that. I'm laughing at the hypocrisy of that. And we have these good Christians celebrating this good Christian man that loves the sanctity of life. As children, again, I go back, this bothers me. The latest numbers I see is 4,000 children right now in detention camps on our southern border. Right now, that's the nearest numbers I can find. If you guys could find something closer, that's a startlingly huge freaking number. Look, and then you're going to get the other side going, well, Obama started it. I'm not going to get into that again. It takes a little quick research to sort that out. Obama didn't separate families. Obama didn't imprison children. Families were kept together up to any extreme conditions, and they were detained for not more than 72 hours. And that was the purpose of these detention areas that Obama built. When Trump came in, it was zero tolerance. Jeff Sessions, they started separating the families, separating the children with no idea how they're going to put them back together. This infuriates me. So again, it makes me wonder, how serious was he about the nobility of American children? When we have, and you know what? They're not even mostly Mexican children. They're mostly Central American children that are in these detention camps. So I'm assuming that Trump does not think they're noble as the American children, just because their parents cared enough to get them out of these savagely drug-infested, corrupt countries. So somehow these children are here to pay the wages of their parents' sins now, and they're somehow way less noble than the great American children. You know, and then you see these crowds of so-called Christians just cheering this on. Then I want to bring up another thing too. The fact, this is no bullshit, the fact of him rolling back the nutritional guidelines of school lunches. Fact. That Michelle Obama, less fat, less salt, because we're getting fat, and heart disease is one of the biggest killers. And what possible reason to make America great would Trump have to roll back those things? The only excuse I could find was that children need something more palatable, something they'll get, because if it's too healthy, they're not going to eat it. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. Why don't you just feed them cake every day, cake and ice cream? If that's your mindset. Again, talking about the specialness in his care for children, yet he just rolled back the regulations to feed them healthy foods, and feed them healthy foods while they're in school learning. That's another important factor of this. I mean, we all know that breakfast is important. as they're learning how these kids feel, how these kids' energy levels, their ability to comprehend the material. When they're getting loaded down with fats and salt and sugar and also the crap. How the hell that's making America great again, I have no idea. So anyway, we have Trump, and then I was reading too in this article about how he was basking in the adulation of the crowd. 4 more years of this pro-life crowd. It made me it made me nauseous. It made me angry. The hypocrisy is just stunning. But the thing that stuck out most was the nobility of our American children. Like I said, don't get me wrong. All human life is special. Kids are wonderful, pure beings. And America's a beautiful, wonderful land. But the way his sentence was phrased, it definitely sounded as if American children are superior to the rest of the world, or even more than that, should be treated as nobility. Yeah, I just don't agree with that at all. I don't think we'll have peace, justice, health, or any of that in the world until certain groups stop looking at themselves as nobility. Yeah, so that's my that's about it for today. Let me know what you guys think. All right, you guys have a good Saturday.